What an episode. We got something surprisingly different in the most recent Bad Batch episode, so let's get straight into the breakdown. For the most part, the episode follows the perspectives of the Twi'leks on Ryloth, and we get a lot of close focus on Cham Syndulla, the military leader of Ryloth who has been previously seen in the Clone Wars. Cham Syndulla, also nicknamed the Hammer of Ryloth, was a resistance fighter that fought side by side with the likes of Mace Windu against the separatist forces. The green Twi'lek that we see next to him is of course his wife, and both of them are mother and father to Hera Syndulla, who we will see later in this episode. Hera's mother would later die and was killed at some point during the Twi'lek rebellion against the Empire, and would also lose a little brother at some point. We also get to see the Ryloth senator on Free Ta, who has made many different appearances throughout the Clone Wars show. Senator Ta, who is a corrupt and greedy politician, and we see that very clearly in this episode when he tries to persuade Admiral Rampart to get rid of Syndulla in fear of his popularity. Ta's political allegiance was primarily concerned with lining his own pockets, and he was also a staunch militarist and happy to support the Empire if it meant retaining his position and wealth. We also get to see another familiar face, Gobi Glee. He was part of the Twi'lek resistance movement that opposed the separatist occupation of the planet and fought alongside General Ima Gundi. He would later go on to fight under Syndulla's Free Ryloth movement against the Empire. We are then finally introduced to a young Hera who dreams of flying and leaving Ryloth. We still get to see a warm relationship between her and her father, however this would eventually change down the line. Following Cham Syndulla's reorganization of the Free Ryloth movement, Hera's mother and brother would all be killed. From then on, Cham devoted himself solely to the resistance on Ryloth, and his relationship with Hera grew apart. As a result, Hera would eventually leave Ryloth and start her own rebel cell, believing that the galaxy should be free from the Empire, not just Ryloth. The both of them would not speak to each other for several years until Hera contacted her father in order to hijack an Imperial cruiser carrier. In the episode, Chopper also makes an appearance, a droid in which Hera saved during the Battle of Ryloth. And if you've watched Rebels, Chopper is definitely going to be a familiar character as he is pretty important to the crew of the Ghost. During the episode, we also get to see a clone who seems to be behaving very differently. For the most part, following the activation of the inhibitor chips, most of the clones have seemingly lost their personality and color, but unlike most other clones, clone Captain Hauser still has painted armor and still acts pretty normal when he is around Cham Syndulla, but I also can't tell if he's faking it or not. At the end of the episode, when Rampart orders him to hunt down Hera, he appears to look really cold, like how all the other clones look when their inhibitor chips are activated. But then again, he did question Rampart's decision to have Hera arrested, so let me know what you think in the comments down below. We also learned that Rampart has set up his plan all along, so it could be the case that the clone was faking it all along to get closer to Cham, but who knows. By the end of the episode, Crosshair assassinates Senator Ta in order to implicate the Syndullas and to paint them as insurgents in accordance with Rampart's plan, but there might be a massive plot hole here. You see, in the book The Lords of the Sith, Senator Tar is supposed to be still alive and kicking, and by this point the Free Ryloth movement is already in full swing, which means that episode 11 of the Bad Batch has to be set before the events of the book. In the book, Vader and Palpatine travel to Ryloth where they are ambushed by Cham and his fighters, and in the book, Ta was summoned before the Emperor to explain to Palpatine about the situation on Ryloth. So, the question now becomes, how could he still be alive in the book but already dead in the Bad Batch? It doesn't seem like he's still alive given that Crosshair shot him in the head, so this could either be a massive plot hole that the writers didn't think about, or this could be a retcon for the book. Overall, this episode was an origin story for Hera and an origin story for the Free Ryloth movement. It was a little weird that the episode did not feature the Bad Batch heavily, with just making a very brief appearance in the middle of the episode. But I have a feeling that we will get to see the Syndullas and the Bad Batch come together once again, maybe even see Hauser switch sides. It could also be that this episode in particular sets up a relationship between Omega and Hera that we will see sometime down the line. If the Filoniverse is going to be all about Thrawn, it could be the case that we will get to see Omega and Hera reunite in some other series such as the Book of Boba or Ahsoka. Either way, I look forward to see what they are going to do about this storyline. That's all I have for you today. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode. I am the Lost Acolyte,
and I have spoken.